Hello and welcome to The Shift powered by ET Edge Insights. The Shift focuses on industry leaders with diverse fields, delving on opportunities, challenges, and strategies of the future. Watch The Shift to know these valuable insights from our industry leaders and stay ahead of the curve. Today I have with us Shailja Dutt, who is the founder and chairman of Stellar Search. And today we're going to talk about her leadership philosophy and how she has been able to, get the company to global level thanks to all elements, the emotional elements that she brings to her leadership. Welcome to our interview, Shailja.
Thank you so much for having me.
Shailja, first thing first, leadership is often perceived as a position of strength, yet you emphasize the importance of vulnerability in building trust. How do you balance authenticity and authority in your leadership, and how has it shaped your ability to connect with your team and clients?
So, let me talk a little bit about why vulnerability first. I feel vulnerable leaders are leaders that build connections, and authoritative leaders build distance. The idea is, when I speak about be vulnerable, it is to create that bridge, because people connect with people. People don't connect with authority. And your team, your clients, they need to see the real you. They need to connect with another human being.
True.
So I think that it's why I've been such a vociferous proponent of vulnerability, that people connect with people. It helps you build better connections. And better connections means better collaboration, better productivity, better functioning teams, and happier organizations.
Sure.
But how do you balance? Because, you can be vulnerable, you can admit to your mistakes, you can tell the team that, I've made a mistake. It allows them also not to hide their mistakes. They can come forward and they can share that I've made a mistake. We have a simple rule in the office, just don't make the same mistake twice. But all mistakes are an opportunity to learn. And this is the sort of vulnerability that I talk about in leadership, that this is how leaders need to be. Otherwise, you're going to have teams that are constantly hiding their mistakes, toxic work cultures, and a lot of it's very prevalent today. But if you ask me how do you balance, because you also need a certain degree of control and authority to make sure that things get done.
Sure.
You balance it with boundaries.
Okay, so talking of balance, does that pose a challenge? Because sometimes a leader is able to emote more than lead with authority, or sometimes they're leading with authority and not that much with the emotions. So that striking that perfect balance, how does one make that happen, and how do you make that happen?
I think for me, I make it happen by just being myself. When I need to be emotional, I will be emotional. When I need to be tough, I am going to be tough. I've never really given it thought that, should I be tough in this situation and should I be emotional in this? I think I bring myself, my authentic self to work. So what you see is what you get, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's with clients, I don't think I'm ever putting on an act.
Sure.
So I think that is very, very important. When you shed your cape and armor,
so no holds barred.
And you say, I'm just another human being, this is who I am, and this is how I'm turning out. And a lot of it, like I said, it's about the boundaries that we set. So if you don't set correct boundaries, you have a lot of times, these high empathy but low functioning organizations. And that's not a good space to be in. If you have, high functioning but low empathy organizations, again, hard work cultures. Work is no fun.
Do you think
that's the thing, just striking the balance, and it comes from being, I think, for leaders to be who they are.
So do you think that the teams also prefer leadership humanized?
I think there's a huge global trend towards that. Don't you think that there's humanizing leadership now? Whether it's politicians, whether it's corporate leaders, whether it's, athletes, everybody's, they want to show their real self to the world. They don't want to now put on a facade. And I think post-COVID, this has been even more,
Sure.
it's been happening even more. that, more and more leaders are showing up as their authentic selves.
Okay, I want to shift your focus to empathy now, and it is being increasingly recognized as a cornerstone of effective leadership. Can you share an example where it transformed a challenging situation into an opportunity for you?
Let me think back, but I remember one very, very distinct example. So we had a candidate, very smart, very bright investment banker. We got him his break, and the investment banking firm that he joined decided to wind up in India. And he was jobless. And I really, it was the first time that this had happened, that you've placed someone and in 6 months they come to you and say, well, my company is winding up. In essence, the firm has we don't have an obligation.
Yeah.
We can help them just find another job.
Of course.
But I really felt, I don't know, I just at that moment felt awful, and I said, how's he going to go home? And, he's got a wife and children and bills and responsibilities. And he was also very stressed about that. So I just suggested, why don't you come to office? And, it's a great environment in office. We're very proud of the culture we have. It's very inclusive. And I said, while you're there, we could look for other opportunities. But, instead of sitting at home and feeling really morose, here's come and be with high energy young people. It'll be good for your morale. And he started coming to work. And he was an alumni of an Ivy League school. So he was connecting with his alumni network. And through that network, there was someone in the US who was looking for a search partner in India to do Walmart's hiring across Asia.
Okay.
And that was my first big international break, because I started working with Walmart in Hong Kong, in China, through him.
Okay.
Through that one act of genuine empathy.
Sure.
And it's just wonderful how, karma comes back. It's a karmic cycle.
True, very true.
So there it is. Like, it was a difficult thing. It was not a challenging situation. It was a difficult situation, but it turned out to be one of my life's greatest opportunities.
Empathy does pay off, I think. Without us knowing, it just comes back in our karmic system, like you just said.
And it has to come from within. You can't fake
Absolutely
empathy.
not.
That, let me be nice to the person, because then later I am going to get something from it. I think when we do things from our heart, that karmic cycle really pays
Very
off.
true. But on the flip side, I would like to ask you, has it gotten you into a situation where you feel that now this is too much of me extending and going beyond my, walking that extra mile, and it has impacted your leadership and at personal level, that you feel that, there are too many more times that I have been doing this and it's been, it's coming back onto me?
I think I've learned a lot of lessons. I mean, there have been times when you say things come back because you've been too kind, too easy, but I think they've all been great learning opportunities for me. But I don't think I'm ever going to stop being the person that I am, or being less empathetic just because those were learning opportunities.
Sure.
It just helped me define boundaries a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to stop me from being who I am.
Sure. As telesearch has grown into a global entity, how has your leadership philosophy adapted to meet the demands of diverse teams, cultures, and markets? This is a broader question to what we're discussing.
It's a broad question. And my view is that leadership values don't change. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter which markets. It doesn't matter what clients. Your value system doesn't change. So your leadership philosophy doesn't change. But what you do, or what I learned to do, is you observe, you understand, you adapt, and then you do. Because there are nuances of markets that are different. In Germany, for example, we can't call candidates after 5 in the evening. We can never call them on the weekends, and we cannot call them unsolicited. Which in India is almost something that we do very, very easily.
Yes.
So you understand these nuances, you observe, you understand, you adapt for that market, and then you implement. But leadership philosophy always stays the same.
Sure. Because people are same, primarily humans are same everywhere, doesn't matter which country they belong to.
Everybody responds to compassion, to empathy, to passion.
Yeah, same way as...
That's universal.
Sure. Now, coming to a question where I would like to ask you, women often feel pressured to do it all perfectly, right? And how have you confronted the superwoman myth, so to say, in your own journey? Where, you can share some lessons in prioritization, self-compassion, and letting go of perfectionism.
Okay, so let me tell you, the superwoman is not a myth. It's reality.
Okay.
Women are just superwomen. But, this whole, can I have it all? My view is you can. So I'm the contrarian. I come from a contrarian school of thought. Yes, you can. Just not all on the same day. And that's when priorities come in. And I think that it's very important for women to prioritize things that light up their eyes, that bring fire into their soul. I think a lot of women, we prioritize the wrong things. And as I've gotten older, I've also realized that you never can pour into any cup if your cup is empty.
Absolutely.
So it's very important to fill your cup first. And I can share with you, this happened a couple of months ago. We were sitting on the family table and somebody was talking about who do I love more and who's more important in my life, and there were the children and my husband, my brothers. And so they looked at my husband and they said, well, what do you think? And he said, look, in Shailja's list of priorities, right up here is Shailja. And then it is the children, and then it is work, and then it's me, and then it's family, but she's right up there, and then there's a big gap, and then there's everything else.
Wow.
I think that kind of prioritization, if young women learned early in their life,
True.
I think they'd have incredibly successful, very joyous lives. And it's something that women just don't do. There's no point in slaving in a kitchen, cooking the perfect meal if you don't like cooking.
Absolutely.
That's my take on this.
Yeah, if it comes as a stereotype, then you would not be willing or, putting your heart in it. You'll be just doing it as just another chore that you do.
Yeah.
True.
I work out every day. I get up at 4:30 because I love my workouts. It doesn't matter how tired I am, but that is one thing that lights a fire in my soul.
True.
It's a priority. It's always going to get first preference. So, this is how women need to prioritize, which they don't. But
Sure.
I have to tell you, women in general are superwomen. There's no myth in this. This is reality.
Great. Now that we've learned it from you. My next question would be, from founding Stellar Search to expanding into international markets. Courage, and that lights up your face when I say courage, has clearly been a defining element of your journey. Can you share a moment where taking a bold risk led to transformative growth for you and for yourself, your business, or both?
Yes, and surprisingly, it was something that happened with me personally, and it was transformative in every which way that I look at it in my life, whether personal, professional, spiritual, physical, mental, all of it. I just felt that I grew so much. So in 2017, we were sitting on the table and my younger son said that, Mom, we should go to Everest. And I had never trekked in my life. I had no trekking shoes. I just never been on a trek, a hike, nothing. And on, I think, the 31st of March, he and I were at Everest Base Camp.
Wow.
Just the two of us. We didn't go in some big group or anything, just the two of us.
Wow.
And I always feel that moment really defines who I am as a person. That I decided to do it. There was a moment of hesitation, You ran through all the risks in your head. And then you said, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
I just need to take the first step, one step at a time.
Yeah.
One foot in front of the other. And even today, in my darkest days, on days where I really, really feel I'm not taking the right decisions or I feel low, my son always reminds me that you walked to the top of the world on a whim, just because I asked you to. You can do anything. And it kind of reaffirms my belief that yes, I can do anything.
Yes, we need people in our lives to make us, go back to our achievements and actually have that reaffirmation. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I look back at life, so many other moments, but this was the defining moment. This was the defining moment of, yes, I think I can do anything I can set, that I set my mind to, and my belief that anyone can do anything if they set their mind to it.
Shailja, this has been a very, very insightful and very emotionally intelligent conversation with you, and very candid one, and you've been great at it. I mean, you speak from your heart, and I had a great time speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining me in this interview for ET Edge Insights, and I look forward to meeting you again. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, viewers, for watching, and stay tuned to ET Edge Insights for more such interviews. Bye-bye.